First thing that we're going to talk about is divots and what you're trying to do when it comes to sanding and seeding or putting the actual divot back, because it really goes both ways. What you'd really like to do on golf shots where the divot is big enough, you would always prefer to put the turf back. Even if you have to walk 5 or 6 yards ahead to get the divot, it's going to grow back faster, especially in the colder weather. So it's always the preferred method is to go ahead and put the divot back. And we can show you in 2 different examples of what we're referring to. We have 2 divots here that have been taken. And the big divot is the first one, and it produced a good sized divot. So it's always easier to come back and to place the divot back into that, and then to make sure and take the extra time to push that back down, because that will repair the divot much quicker than if you just put the sand and seed back in. But all through the course of the winter, still use the sand and seed, because it does help keep the golf course consistent and keep the golf course level. But here we have another lie. And this is an iron shot where the divot completely blew up and there was nothing left to put back into this one. So what we'd prefer to do is come in with our sand and seed container, and it only takes a little bit. What you don't want to do is you don't want to have that sand and seed be mounded up like it is right now. So what you do is you just take your foot, and we're just going to smooth that completely out so that the sand is below the turf. And all that's doing is protecting the crown of the rest of the plant, and it's leveling it and putting the sand and seed back in. But you don't want that mounded over the top. You always want it just below the surface. Now, once it's at least sanded and seeded, at least the player has an opportunity to pick it off of a sand instead of trying to dig it out of a hole. We're using ryegrass, so in the summer you're going to get germination of these divots within 4 days, 5 days. As the fall sets back in, everything slows back down, so the window of germination gets longer. Probably after the first frost, we don't do the seed anymore because it just will not germinate because of the cold weather, and it's not embedded into the ground. So probably by this time, the seed will go away, and probably in March, the seed will come back. But the sand containers are always available. Continue to use the sand containers. They'll really benefit the golf course.